See, this is what happens when you do the same thing every day, day in, day out. Have you ever been on medicine and you actually don't remember if you took your medicine for the day because you do it every day, day in, day out? And you go, wait, did I take it? No, I did take it, right? I don't take it. So it happens like that. Anyway, a very warm good evening and Om Shanti to our beautiful tribe, our beautiful family out there and in there, out there and in here. To our beautiful family out there and in here. If you're tuning in to the Next Normal for the first time, warm welcome. What took you so long? We've been doing this for almost a year. Coming up on March 16th will be our 1-year anniversary. Santosh says today is our 100th show. Whoopee! Yay! Congratulations, Santosh, you did it. He goes, you did it. No, you did it. So while I was coming downstairs tonight, I was realizing, and it is so interesting, like I'm coming down the steps, and I could feel like I've done this 100 times. At this exact time, I've come down every night at 5:30 in the studio, and you can hear little Happy's paws coming down the steps right behind me. And I hear that sound every day for almost a year. And I thought to myself as I was walking into the studio, and I told Santosh, brother, and I said, what's that movie, Groundhog Day, where the guy gets up and he wants something different, but I think it's the same thing. I might get the movie wrong, so those of you who know it better than I, you can correct me. I'm okay with it. But it's like, from what I've understood, every day he gets up, but it's the same day. He repeats the same day every day. But I think the movie goes where he kind of fantasizes or lives out something completely different. I don't know, something like that. But I'm just wondering how many of us feel that we're also in this Groundhog Day, as if the energies and the elements are sort of forcing you into an energy, forcing you into a very small box to exist from, until you almost become nothing. Food for thought. And I've asked so many friends and relatives this question, how are you doing? Tell me, how do you spend the day? I mean, I've literally asked people, how are you spending the day? How do you pass the time? Now, I'm saying that in a day, we do get things done. It's, we are God's instrument. We have to be on service, whether we want to or not. It is our DNA. We are wired for this now. We've been doing it too long to not feel it flow through us in our nature. That's fine. That's not the issue. And yet, you still feel like, okay, come on. This is enough now, no? Isn't it time for us to get on a flight? Go somewhere and do something? I want to go to India right now. I can't. They claim someone has to be dying or going for surgery in order for you to even go to India. So it's like, okay. Well, no one's dying. Okay. And then you think about things, right? I was talking to India today because, I'm doing a lot of stuff with India now. And I said, I'm still looking for some folks to put on our new series that we're planning to do on America Meditating Radio, which are of Indian origin. And my intention is to bridge the East and the West to find solutions. Did you mark my word? I've been talking to people when the world saw the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th, that the whole world actually started to feel that they have permission to do it. The same thing happened in India. On Republic Day itself, important days, those farmers or so-called farmers or people connected to the policy changes that's been going on in America, they stormed the fort with their swords and their carts just because they saw America going through the same thing. What was that saying you said to me, Santosh, that they say? If America does, what was that?
I could be wrong. If America gets cold, the world sneezes.
Okay, so he says that there's a saying that he came across that if America gets a cold, and then the world sneezes. Something like that. I don't know. It might not be very good to use during a pandemic. But look at what happens in India. And I've often felt the relationship or the karmic connection between Washington, D.C. and India. I can't tell you, psychically and intuitively, I feel there's something so deep there. I'm just waiting for it to just all expand in such a way that it brings the world together and we become one golden aged entity. Anyway, back to just, everything being like the same. And I've been asking people this question, like, how are you functioning on a day-to-day basis? And then at the same token, you see people like, even at the Red Fort on Republic Day in India, you didn't see people wearing their masks. I was talking to people in India today, and they were basically saying, oh, Jenna Ben, people are out now. They're on the streets in India. Things are opening back up. They're going back to work. Actors, singers, people are going back in studios. And I go, yeah, that's great. And then it's like, the world is functioning. But then there's sometimes, like, I'll talk to friends and I'll be, why don't you come over, or let's do this together. And then some will tell me, well, the virus has really gotten worse. There's a variant now, and, I have to wait until I get my vaccine. And I feel like, is that really the reason? Or is there something else? Are we like quietly giving up on ourselves? That it just seems easy to feel the collective sort of a tribalness that, okay, well, you're not really supposed to go out because this and this and this. And then on the other hand, you're seeing a lot of people out. They wear their masks. They're conscientious. They're this, they're that. And you're like, get to a point. What do you believe? Where do we go? What's happening? Right? And I was sharing with Santosh, there's not a day that doesn't pass by that one particular person is benefited. And one of the things I'm remembering, Dadi Janki, who passed away last year, and she was our spiritual rock for the Brahma Kumaris. But I remembered when I was first sent to Washington, a little bit over 20 years ago, and Dadi had told me, Jen, every day, just benefit one life. Don't worry about a million, but just every day benefit just one soul. And that sat in me. That every day, let there be one life that I looked out for, that I helped, that Baba through me gave love, Baba through me gave purity or peace, or Baba through me gave wisdom, or Baba through me gave an experience of silence. Just one. And you'll feel like your life had meaning. That it's not just about you and your desires and what you want, but it's about your offering, your service, your seva to our better humanity. Tonight's discussion is all about finding solutions, and that's always a good topic. We had another meeting today with the team over the phone, and we've been looking for answers, and we're asking the same question, like, where do we focus our energies now? What's inside of us as Brahma Kumars and Kumaris, and I can speak for Washington, D.C., is that the soul captures the essence of God's beauty and divinity, that it becomes really the child of God. and that the soul does that for itself. And when the soul does it for itself, then when the soul does it for the self, then you're going to serve other people. Does that make sense? Like once you've taken care of yourself, you'll take care of other people. So we've been meeting, and I think like we're at this crossroads, and I don't do anything unless I feel it. And I have to feel it from Baba. I can't feel it from what I want. Since my life of surrender, there is no I except for a particular percentage of it. The majority of my life is what Baba wants. Baba's love, Baba's wisdom, Baba's light, Baba's vision. And what that means when I say Baba, if you're signing in for the first time today, it's where there is 100% beauty in everything that occurs or that you do or where you are, and that you are making your decisions to get to that place. For us, God is energy. For us here at the Brahma Kumaris, God is an ocean of love and peace and purity, and God's presence is here. It's amongst us right now, and He wants our attention so we can regain that vibration in our personality. So we've been in this position too, looking for a solution. Like what's next? Like where do we go next? What's our next normal after the next normal? And I've been talking with the family, and the aim is like, well, let's go to Baba and see what Baba's saying. And one of the things that I have recognized that blocks us from finding solutions is if we're in a state of too many emotions. Emotions block the clarity of the thought that can give us directions. And I know emotions feel good, and I know emotions are important. I'm just sensing that it is also a hindrance in us being able to find the right answer to liberate the soul, so it can take it to its next destination, so the soul can move towards its next big thing or next wonder thing, however you want to language it. So I'm going to play a video by Sister Jenna, who gave a really nice sharing about finding solutions in our world, and hopefully it will help you to also gain some insights. Enjoy.
If I begin my day, whatever time my day may begin, for me it begins early in the morning, and that's a very beautiful time when the world is very quiet. But before I begin my day, if I could spend a few minutes, whatever is comfortable for me, whether it's 3 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and in those special moments which are for me sacred moments, what I'm doing is reminding myself of essential spiritual truths, that I am not the physical body, I'm not my designation, I'm not the color of my skin, I'm not all of these labels that people have attached to me. I am a being of light. I am a being of love, of truth, of joy. And as I remind myself of this reality and truth, I begin to feel that way. I begin to experience the reality of that. And that means I'm beginning my day coming out of the right side of bed, in a sense. And once I've started that journey, it can only continue, because I can come back to that feeling of the start of the day again and again. Whenever I have a moment, instead of putting things in my ears and plugging in and hearing all sorts of other things, I'll want to come back to that awareness of my own inner dignity, because it makes me feel good. It's good for me and it makes me feel good, and it's definitely going to bring about change. So the starting point, how can I trust myself when I know myself? And knowing myself happens when I give time to myself. If I'm not willing to give time to myself, how can I know myself and how can I trust myself? So going on that inner journey in silence to know myself, connecting with who I am, learning that I'm a spiritual being and connecting with the inner being, I see value for myself, respect for myself, trust myself, and I have dignity. And I'm able then to treat others with dignity also. Without my inner self-respect, I cannot treat anyone else with dignity.
Beautiful instrument. Sister Jenna is just amazing. She just has such a beautiful presence about her. She's been with the Brahma Kumaris now for almost 60 years. I think it's been about 60 years for her. She used to be the right hand to Daddy Janki, and she's the international director for all the activities of the Brahma Kumaris internationally. Just a beautiful energy, absolutely beautiful energy. And again, it goes to show that God's light and God's energy can work through every one of us if we are open to it and if we want it. Whatever we feed ourselves the most, we will become. That's a given. If you stay in the sun long enough, you'll get sunburned. If you eat a lot of sugar or sweets, you'll get cavities. If you overeat, you will become overweight. If you give love, you'll get love. If you are kind and pure-hearted, well, you will get that back too. And in a world of movement where we're supposed to be energized beings, movement. Sister Gita again is on this thing, wanted me to take her to Miami. And, I just don't feel comfortable looking at her sad face. Just take me to Miami now. I promise it'll be good, and I want to find a solution. And so today I just says, come, let's just sit. Listen to me. I want to take you. You think I don't want to go to Miami and wake up and look at the Atlantic? I would want that nothing more than anything else. But at this time, I can't. We can't just go like that. There are a lot of changes, but just come now. She didn't hear. Just come to Miami. And then Santosh told me today she came downstairs and tapped him in his room. He was in his room and she tapped him on his shoulder and she told him, you have to take more care of me. And Santosh just looked at her and go, okay, sister, but what more do you want me to do? And we were saying to ourselves when we met today, I go, what's the solution to help? And so we went to Baba to find out, what is the solution? And as we turn inwards to find the solution, we come out all the time. Baba says, just give love and more love and more love. She will hear it eventually. It'll crack whatever the wall is that she's holding up right now. And I went to her room and I said, I'm not taking you to Miami unless you clean up this room. I cannot believe I've become the mother here. It's just embarrassing. So I'm actually in her room and I go, look, I can't take you to Miami unless this room is put together. Look at this room. And I came back about maybe 2 hours later and she folded everything up and she was putting up her stuff and hanging it up. And would you believe, she came to me and she says, you ready to take me to Miami? And I said, wow. How does she stay there? And the solution is I went back in and I asked Baba, what can I do? And Baba said, just give love. And so then I sat with her and I made her some tea, and I forgot who I was talking to. Every time I'm on a meeting call, that's when she comes and asks me to go to Miami. I can be free for an hour or half an hour during the day. She will not ask me to go to Miami. But when I'm doing something or I'm in the middle of something important, can you take me to Miami? I was like, just give me a minute, okay? No, so give me the keys. I'm like, what is the solution here? So I'm giving you a real experience here. So one solution that I've found whenever anything is happening in your life that you cannot control, the most important solution that we have to find in ourselves is to recognize that your power, your peace, your love is more powerful than that person or that situation outside of you. The biggest solution we can find for all of our challenges that we endure or will endure is, how do I keep my calm? How do I keep my love here? Because at the end of the day, and when we take our last breath, it won't be about how many shows you produced. It won't be what clothes you wore. It won't be about how many records you produced, how many people you know or don't know, or your titles, or how much money you have, even though all of those things seem so important right now. The solution lies within you. The way you feel about the unfolding of your life and the relationships in your life. The way the life continues to signal to you how to be, what it wants from you. Solutions are always there. It's just sometimes the emotions or the tug of war, the push and the pull, for whatever thoughts we're having, and the emotion makes everything so unclear. We can't see the answer right here. Look at what's going on in America. Should there really be a division of America? There shouldn't be. It is called the United States of America. Our Constitution, our Declaration, our Bill of Rights, everything was there to talk about how we can be united. But for whatever reason, and I want you to recognize what I'm trying to say here, the emotions in people, and that includes all of us, they are so deep that when the answer is so simple as to just be respectful, even if the person doesn't flow your way, even if they're not listening to what you have to say, even if they don't believe what you say, can you still be respectful? Because in your giving of respect, in your giving of accepting the person is different than you, there is a solution. And I've been thinking about what's happening in Congress and what must be the tension, because people are so filled with the emotion. And I know where there's emotion, sometimes you feel like when the emotion is there, you need to grieve, yes, and you need to process your feelings, yes. But we also need to move on. And so for how long will we hate? For how long will we be afraid of somebody else? For how long will we not want to see another person shine? For how long will there be sibling rivalry, brother rivalry, political rivalry, competition, lack of trust between people? For how long? All of that is emotions. how could it be that all the answers are out there and in here? You pause only when you're scrolling through social media. Majority of the times that you stop at something that you might not even know, who you don't know, something that makes you laugh, or something that makes you cry, or something that makes you angry. It feeds at your emotions. And the way the media captures you is to capture your emotions. The way your partner in your marriage disempowers you is to get your emotions riled up. In a relationship between a couple, I don't care, man, woman, 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 man, man, married, not married, to be married, living without marriage, Om Shanti. Souls are souls playing their part. But let's just say one person in the relationship is the breadwinner. And that person enters the marriage feeling that that particular other partner is only, take care of the house and, raise the kids and make cooks and make sure everything is okay. I was remembering when Brahma Baba had his awakening in the 30s. And he began to educate the women in Pakistan before the separation of Pakistan and India in these days. He was like telling these young women and mothers and grandmothers, no, don't touch my feet. Don't bow at me. Remember the one divine. You are a future goddess. When these women started to find their confidence, their husbands beat them or totally made their lives a living misery. Why? Because they were no longer in charge. Now the solution was so simple. The solution wasn't to beat your wife. The solution wasn't to yell at your wife. The solution wasn't to walk around in your home thinking in your head, she's only supposed to cook, clean, and give your kids and keep you happy. The solution is to that you weren't supposed to keep thinking that. You're supposed to be thinking, that partner that has bared my child or bore my children, who has taken care of our home, that's my partner. That's God's child too, and together we can grow. And just say, for example, she gets a career and she loves what she's doing and she starts to thrive, and he's recognizing, or she is recognizing, that they seem so much more happier. Why are they so happy? They shouldn't be that happy. I'll never forget the story of a relative. She used to come here many, many years ago, and she used to spend like a few weeks with us. And it got to a point where, let's say after a few months, she would come and spend 2 weeks and then go back. She was so happy. And then her last trip, she never came back again. Her last trip one day, when we were dropping her at the airport, she goes, my nickname, she used to call me, she says, my husband gave me an ultimatum, either the Brahma Kumaris or me. And he just thinks that maybe I'm having an affair because every time I come back, I'm so happy when I come back from here, and I can't ruin my marriage. And would you believe, this is a relative, she stopped coming here because he was losing controlling her and having her where he felt his identity and his power belonged. Now she sacrificed her happiness. I'm not saying she's not happy with her husband, I'm sure she is, but she was flourishing. She was so happy. And she went back to what she thought was safe. And she might have thought that was the solution because her marriage is safe. And she stays in there, and I won't say that she's happy. I look at her and I see so much potential, and I see she doesn't use it. But Who am I to speak? I'm not living inside of her. The point that I'm making, the solution lies in being naturally in tuned to your God-given truth and wisdom, where there's actually no need for emotions, because your truth and your wisdom, which will bring love to, will be the radar in which you decide to do everything in your life. And I found the times that have been the most challenging for me is when I'm in an emotional place and I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I can't even hear Baba. And I would suggest that you check that out too for yourself. That if you go into your personality in that space of truth within you, that part of you that is in alignment with the universal laws of the universe, and the decisions that you make, that they're always rooted in this should not put me in a bondage. It should set me even more free. And the freedom that you're looking for is the freedom of the mind, before you can even get physical freedom. I've always been impressed by Mandela's narrative. I didn't know him intimately to know if he really truthfully, mentally, emotionally was like that. But the narrative about him is that for the 25 years he was locked up in a South African prison for basically speaking the truth that apartheid was wrong, it was told that while he spent those 25 years in prison, his mind was free. He was so free that even when he was released and became the Prime Minister of South Africa, that his second tenure, he goes, I don't need to run for Prime Minister anymore. The title and the position wasn't important. The depth of where he lived in his spirit was important. Who he is, who he was in his soul was important. Mother Teresa, out there in Calcutta, a woman from Prague, ends up living in India, works with the souls who have leprosy, the ones that nobody in the country wanted to support or help. She was doing it as she was with her hands. Experts and people who were educated came in and say, look, this can't continue in the same way. We've got to organize and put all of this together, and we've got to make this better and organize. And she's like, you do it, I'll just do what I've been doing. It's like she was free. And there were letters that they found after Mother Teresa passed away that she would question God. Like, why? If you're God, why so many of your children still suffer? Why? Because the children aren't letting God in. The solution to every struggle in the world, every challenge, every difficulty is to let the energy of God's love in, so that you can find the right response to the situation. It's just that when Baba gives the right answer, we are so attached to what we think the answer should be. Our emotions are so caught up in what we think it is, that even if Baba gives the right answer, we go, no, that can't be it. Because his answer will be to liberate you. And sometimes we just are accustomed to locking ourselves up in a small, tiny space, even though we have the key. We hold the key to liberating our own minds and liberating these relationships. Right now, tonight, think about texting that person that hurt you so deeply that you feel like every time their name comes up, or their name comes up in your phone and you're like, you want to talk to them, feel that resistance. It's an emotion. And all it takes is for you to go, hey, I'm thinking of you, you all right? But for the life of you, you can't. But why should I say sorry first? They're the ones that did the bad thing. An emotion. What gets in our way at a global level, while the world is not able to find its solutions, is the attachment to those stories and the emotions that those attachments feed in us, that we can't find the answer. No matter how hard, everything is on paper. Remember back in the day, I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't really indulge in milk. But remember back in the day, even in school, I don't know if they do it still, but they used to have these boxes of milk, like chocolate milk or vanilla milk or strawberry milk. I remember now in school. And there was like a small box of milk. And then there were so many times I just wanted to taste it and drink just a little bit, even though I knew that if I did, I'd get so sick in school. But have you ever opened the box of milk on the wrong side? Remember, it would say open here, but you were just blabbing away, and then you open and then you're like trying to get that milk carton open, and then it kind of opens funny, and you're like pouring out the milk or whatever. That's what emotions do to our decisions. We might even get to what we want, but it's clumsy, and it's ugly, and it's sometimes disorganized, and it's sometimes chaotic. And even if we use emotions to get us to whatever our answer might be, and we have to go through all of that insanity to get there, then okay. But everything in our hearts wants it easy, simple, better, royal, noble, dignified. And as I was telling you about these relationships, where two people are living together, and the emotions that these two people hold in their marriage or in their union can't give them the answer to just let it go. It's the same thing happening here in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill. Just imagine when Nancy Pelosi has to pass by Mitch McConnell. Hi. What they must be feeling when Lindsey Graham has to look at Nancy Pelosi like, hello. How they must feel with each other. Like that burning sensation of emotions will never make you think clearly. No matter what's the right thing to do in the country. I love the direction this new administration is going, and I keep sending vibrations. Oh, please, like when all of this goes to Congress, that they'll see the light too. I mean, there isn't a day that passes that I'm not sending good wishes to this new administration and the old one, that they'll find that common ground and get those emotions out of the way. So in closing, where do you find your solutions? Move those emotions out. So move them. And I have to tell you, even though it's funny, because for the last few months, I mean, many of you know I went through a wonderful health opportunity last year. And I'm on the medication, and one of the side effects is supposed to be like very hormonal and whatever. And I'm not somebody that focuses on anything from my outside to tell me how I should think. And I'm not going there with it, but I have been wondering, you think it's those pills I told Satoshi? That I've been a little sensitive lately. It's like, is it those pills? But then I realized I was sensitive before the pills. So I go, oh, so it's not the pills. Oh, good. Because I don't want any medicine that I'm taking to be too much, any power over my mental state of mind. So I've been thinking about it, and I've been looking at this, and I said, emotions feed a part of you that makes you feel like you're alive. You know, if there's passion, or if there's fierce love, or if there's anger, if there's rage, if there's jealousy, if there's fear, I mean, it feeds you, right? And you feel like you're alive, and it's debilitating. It's taking more and more and more power from you. And it's just like what we're involved with. It's like this pandemic has forced us to be simple, to go inside of ourselves, to find peace, to find our joy, to be happy with what is in us. What's been the work that we've been doing in ourselves? And for the life of us, the emotions have been fed for so long that if we don't even have it, we might think life is bland. But it's only bland if there isn't the experience of God's love. It'll only be bland if you're not in soul consciousness. It'll only be bland if you don't commit to benefiting one life a day. Even if it's someone online that you know, instead of just liking, share something from your heart to that person with the intention that I'm here to bring benefit to at least one life today. And it will help you to identify the power of finding solutions. Sometimes just comes from your place of purity, your place of not just stillness, but it's your place of goodness. And when you're in that place of goodness, solutions will always come. They have a karmic relationship, and they're karmically connected. So I hope what I've shared today made some element of sense, and it helped somebody to find solutions to whatever you might think is difficult. It's only difficult because of the attachment to the emotions of the difficultness that you think is difficult. When I talk to a lot of people in my environment of the conscious, so-called conscious community, when everybody thinks, oh, love, peace, and happiness, we can get along. But take your emotions out of a relationship that you feel owes you forgiveness. Hardest thing to do. Hardest thing is to pick up that phone and call that person and just say hello, as if nothing ever happened between you and them. So how do we create world peace? Get rid of those emotions. Get rid of those fueling of hate and dislike and who is better, who isn't, who seems like they've got it going on and the other one doesn't. Like, how do we get rid of emotions? Have yoga, have a relationship, have a connection to Source, to Baba. And he'll clean out all of that attachment and unfulfilled issues that are still swirling in your headspace. So far, nobody in your life has come along to get rid of your suffering or pain. Nobody. Not one person. What if the real solution is just in your remembrance of God? Really, a sincere commitment. That you're just settled. You're settled in God's love, in God's peace, in God's purity, in God's light, in God's wonder, in God's gentleness. And as you get acclimated with feeling that energy, you make all of your decisions from that place. Then everything works itself out. The other day I was looking at the news. Today I didn't do any at all. Yay. And I have this habit of going like, I'll look at CNN and maybe, well, I love MSNBC because Stephanie Rule is my girl, but so I love MSNBC first and foremost. But even if you go with CNN or, then I'll just go and hear what Fox is covering. And then I'm like, wow, they're covering something completely different than the rest of the news outlets. And then I was noticing how they were not speaking very nicely about the new administration, and there was that sarcasm. And then I could feel my emotions were getting stirred. And I was like, that's not right what they're doing. They've just come into power. It's just 5 days. Why would you do that? It's the emotions. And then the emotions are connected to our viewers will only watch us if we are anti-establishment, anti-Democrats. So, because we've trapped everyone in that emotions, and maybe CNN and MSNBC has trapped everyone in their emotions too. I'm just saying. But that because of that emotion, then people are just lured into that reality. And it's like, there's no solution. I was so surprised how they were not speaking about the effort the administration was making to get the vaccines to all Americans, and then they were knocking it, and I just turned it. I go, I can't do this. This isn't right what they're doing. And then I just maybe went to MSN and CNN. I just, after a minute or two, I go, and even that decision came from an emotion. Disappointment. Disappointment in mass media. They have a great opportunity to unite the country. Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, whatever. They have a handle on the stories they can tell to bring America together. But the emotions won't let them have the thought to offer the right solution. And I pray that one day it will happen. That we can all just be better people. Just be our better angels. Either we feed the lower vibration or we feed the light. And aren't you truthful enough? Aren't you faithful enough, strong enough, pure enough to believe that your light can shine brighter than 1,000 stars? And that's your purpose here. And that's your service. And maybe that's what the pandemic was offering us. So find your solution in the light, not where the emotional debris is. And even though it'll be a hard road, to fight your way through the resistance and to fight your way through the challenge and the hardship of letting go of the narrative, it has to be done. And it's always just one thought away. So I'm going to sign out. hope today was meaningful and special for you. Thanks for joining us. We love you. Our good wishes and our best wishes are there with you. We are with you. We are for you. We are with you. I am with you. You are with me. We're together. So have a great night tonight. Be well. Find your sweet place inside of your head. That place where you can invite God in and say, good night. And let the energy sleep next to you. You can wake up tomorrow like a new person. Om Shanti. Good night, everyone.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed.